I'm Pieter Walser, and this is the story of the Blank Bottle Winery. It all started in my final year at university when I started making wine in my friend's garage. We sold everything unlabeled. So I didn't really do well in school, so I had no matric exemption. So after school I did a little bit of a study, I did a diploma, and then I traveled for 4 years and I ended up in a little wine farm in France, working in the vineyards. And it's in France that I realized that I want to make wine. And I applied for university at the age of 25. And the university's got a rule that if you're over 25, they have to accept you. They don't look at your school marks anymore. So I went to go study wine when I was 25 years of age. In my third year, I ran out of money, so I started to buy and sell unlabeled wine to generate a bit of cash. In my final year, I had enough money to start making wine myself, so I went to my lecturer and I asked him if I can do instead of doing practical, to start my own little winery. So I started making wine in my friend's garage, and 2 years later, I was selling my own wine, also unlabeled, and then the police closed me down. So it's against the law to sell wine with no traceability. I also didn't have a liquor license and I didn't pay any of my excise duty. So after paying all my tax, applying for a liquor license, I had to show them a label for my wine. And that same week a lady came to me and she knocked on the door. She said that she heard from someone that I sell wine and she does not drink any Shiraz. So as long as it's something like Cab or Merlot, she'll buy. I ran into my garage, I poured her 100% Shiraz. She loved the wine and bought a couple of bottles. So I realized that I don't want people to judge my wine by looking at the label. I want them to judge it on taste. So I called my wines Blank Bottle. At the moment we don't own any land, so we work very closely with farmers. We buy from more than 70 vineyards that's scattered all over the Western Cape, from Ceres Plateau, up the west coast to Pekinese Kloof, down south to Cape Agulhas. And we make all these little batches separately. We make more than 30 different varieties within the cellar. And of that we make 56 different wines, and each wine tells a different story of a different place, different farmer. So I can't do this by myself, so we've got a team of people. First of all, we've got the farmers out there that support us, that gives us quality grapes. We have 2 viticulturists that consult for us on a part-time basis, that make sure the farmer knows exactly what we want. Once the grapes get to the winery, our assistant winemaker Zander takes care of it, him and his team, Torku, James and Matteo. Once that wine hits the bottle, then Jonathan, who's in charge of our storeroom, takes over, and Henry assists him to make sure that our 5 ladies hand label each order, and Jonathan makes sure that it's shipped to the client. So each and every wine in the world has got a great story. So with my wines, I write a whole essay about each wine. So even though it's called Blank Bottle with no information on the bottle, the essay about that wine is on the internet. Each essay gets a title, and that title becomes the batch name of the wine. Once I've written the story behind each wine, I gave it a title, then the label basically just naturally happens. I do it myself. I sometimes carve it from wood. I do lino cuts, I draw it, maybe a photo, whatever. So I design all my labels, and the idea behind the labels is that the labels need to tell you something about the wine in a subconscious way. So each bottle comes with a QR code, and if you scan the code, it takes you straight to the web page with the whole essay about the wine, technical information, and I even do a voice note. So while I'm driving, I record the story behind the wine in more detail, and that I post on the internet as well. We export our wines to 22 different countries. Then we have a local distributor called Great Domains. They're based up in Joburg, but they also have an office down in Cape Town. And then if you're looking for something very specific and you want to buy straight from us, you have to email my wife, Anine. She's got access to everything on the floor. This year we've made 56 different wines, so maybe it's time for Blank Bottle to settle down a bit and put all our energy into focusing on the finer things in each and every single wine that we make.